As we continue our walk through the meadow, we're going to come across a very beautiful plant, kind of low growing, but your eye will catch it right away with the different colors of blues to deep purples to lavender to periwinkle. And it is, it is perennial. It is worth noticing. Actually, birds and butterflies, as well as hummingbirds, are really attracted to the flowers. So you can keep this blooming from spring to fall by cutting it back after it blooms in the spring, if you do have it in your garden. And it will rejuvenate. If you cut back the plant, new leaves and flowers will appear in the roots or in the leaves, and the roots will overwinter. They will come back, and they actually spread. It's so you'll get more and more plants with this. So let's get started. I do have, here's the dies. So there's 4 of them. You've got a stem where I do say to cut it twice again, and I'll show you why. And then you've got the 3-petal flower, the stamen, and these unusual leaves that actually kind of hang down instead of pulling out from the plant. So I'll show you that in a second. So getting started, I'm going to color the 2, and I'm going to do like I did on, anytime I put 2 together. And these, oops, wrong green. Not the wrong green. We will use that one. I'm coloring these back parts just in case they show a bit, because we're going to make these, and these are the buds, and they are the flowers. They cluster a lot, so I have just cut that down to just having, the 3 flowers on it with buds hanging, but you can put on several plants. So I'm going to color the back side of, or the wrong side here of one of the plants, because that'll be, when I put it together. But I'm only coloring these right here, because that's, you might see some of the green, and I'm going to go over it with that lighter green. So the one I used before was YG 8.5, and then this is YG 2.5 to give it kind of that more yellowish green color. And you just quickly go over it. I have cut these stems out of watercolor paper just to give it some real durability and to hold up. And then you can do some bending of the buds, and I'll show you that in a bit. While we've got the green out here, let's color the leaves that go on this. You're going to have 2 that are going to curve downward this way. And then this one here has a little slit in it, and I will show you how that works with the plant. But we're going to go ahead and color that the same color. We're going to do this YG 8.5 and then go over it with the 2.5. Today here in North Carolina, it's a beautiful day to get out and walk. I wasn't in the studio because it's suddenly feels like fall. So before we put these stems together, I'm going to kind of cup out the buds. So I'm going to turn this one over, and you always know the side to do the cupping on is the side you've only done, the buds. You haven't done the stem, because we're going to put that together. And again on this underside piece. And then I'm going to run beads of glue here. Not really going too much into the bud, because I do want it kind of open. and just line it up. If you still see some little white areas on the side, because this is two stems together, you can just fill that in after the glue dries a little bit. I don't want to do it right now because I'll get glue on my pens. And then I'm just going to add a few little striations here on these buds just to give them some detail. I'm doing my flowers in kind of a periwinkle color, but you'll see on the packaging I've done, 3 different colors, so you can, but just look up Spiderwort and you'll see all the different colors it comes in. This one's actually BV 1.4, which is Wild Violet. Gives it kind of a, like I said, periwinkle bluish purple. Your stamens are usually very close to color of the petals, so you can either, depending on the color you use or the color you choose for your flowers, just check the photo you're going from and see whether it's a little bit lighter or darker. This is a BV 1.2, so it was a little bit lighter than the petals, but occasionally you'll see one like the blue ones have a very dark stamen to it. So I'm going to use my molding pad that's in the toolkit, and I'm using my small loop tool, and I'm just stroking it and shaping it a bit. Only 3 petals to each flower, so. And then with your tweezers, you can go in and pinch around it and then just give it a little fold. You're holding it with your opposite hand there and just shaping it a bit so it doesn't turn out so flat. Remember, these are 3-dimensional flowers to make them look really natural. And each stem will get the 3 flowers on it. You have the other buds, and if we didn't have buds and I had them hanging down, you would also have, quite a few flowers blooming on them. But they kind of, don't all bloom at once, which is nice. Like I said, these are really nice to have in the garden because I do like to attract the butterflies and the bees and the hummingbirds. Even though I do put out seed and everything for them, or the hummingbird feeders, they like the flowers. Now take your small ball stylus and just cup right in the center. Before I put them on, I'm going to roll up. I've rolled up 2 of the stamens, but you'll want to take. You don't have to cut these. I have little rounded ends to them. And you just want to go ahead and put a little bit of glue across the bottom. And then roll it up. Fan them out a bit. And then you want to put them in the pollen. They all get yellow pollen. Now before we put this together, I am going to shape these leaves a bit. So I am going to take my leaf tool, and on my leaf mat here with right side down, go ahead and draw that stem line. And I do go ahead and add some color down that stem line with the pan pastel. and then back on the mat with it right side up. And you can put, they don't really have veinings, they have somewhat striations that go around it. And then you can go ahead and bend it a bit. So on my stem, I do still see a little bit of white. So I'm just going to take that pen and just go down the edges like that, just to cover them. Because the watercolor paper is a little thicker, sometimes you'll see that. So it's just a matter of going over it. Looks great. Now, before I put it in my pot here, I'm using the garden pot. This leaf that I did has that little cut slit in it right there. And you are going to take and put your leaf, your first leaf goes right in like that. Now we are going to hold it on the back, so you will want to put a little bit of glue right there, and then you can go ahead and set that down. So that leaf goes in place like that. Then you can set your stem in a pot or just have it, you know, open. It can be, and I've just got a little open area here. Oops, I knocked my leaf there. The reason why I like using watercolor paper is, see, I can bend these any way I want to make it look more natural. And they're, you know, somewhat thicker. Okay, so now you want to, where that little peak is, go ahead and put some glue on it. And then we're just going to set it in place on the stem. I'm going to tuck that one next to it. And then number 3. There we go. Now all we have to do is add our stamens. And so there's a stamen for each one. Looks pretty with the yellow and like I said, these hang downward. So we're going to put some glue on here. They have quite a few leaves, and they're really, you have to be careful though. There are some fine particles on the leaves that, with some people, can cause irritation. So if you grow this, just be careful. I had a few more for this other one. I guess they called it, you know, spiderwort. It does look like maybe spider legs hanging down with the leaves. I don't know why else they would have called it that. I'll have to look that up. I couldn't find anything definitive. There were quite a few different theories, but nothing that stuck. So, of course, this wouldn't be finished without a ladybug on it. So we'll have her on that side there, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glaze. If you like, you can go back and just touch a little bit of, well, this is the lighter purple, just on the ends there of your buds, just like that. And that is the spiderwort. I've added Love is like wildflowers. It's often found in the most unlikely places, just like spiderwort.